Oh, this is going to be a fun video. So this post says, Mick Gordon is a scum, shamelessly retweeting a redo request for the OST on Twitter the same day as QuakeCon just so he could gain attention and get his fans to rally against Bethesda about it. This dude is horrible. I'm glad he left Doom. I'm glad I never get to hear his crappy dubstep music again. I hope he and his fanboys rot in heck together. He couldn't live up to the 2016's OST, and he dossed out a couple PP4 tracks at best. No wonder they cut ties with him, but he should really leave it alone now. Bethesda and id Software have. Alrighty then, so let's just get this out straight here, alright? Not everybody is going to like Mick's music, but holy cow, what is going on here? I've actually had some interactions with Mick I'll talk about here in a second that have been really cool. I think you're going to love to hear about them. I've enjoyed them myself. So here's the thing, not everybody's going to like Mick's music, and I'm pretty sure that these posts from a few years back was when people were mad at Mick for whatever the stupid thing was. It really doesn't matter, if we're being honest here. It's probably nothing big. But here's the thing. There's no denying the impact that he has made. Not just Mick, but Chad and the whole entire audio crew, making the music and the sounds mesh together to where they flow together. They don't overpower one another, and they are a one cohesive unit. He has gone down in Doom history, Mick has, because when you think of modern Doom, what do you think about when it comes to the music? He basically made the modern Doom musical sound. There is just no denying that when you think about Doom in the future, you're going to think about Mick. You don't have to like his music. I mean, heck, there are people that don't like this channel, and that's fine, but you do, so you should subscribe. It's just a piece of history, and that's how it is. We have Bobby Prince before, and we have Aubrey Hodges. He is a part of Doom and its history. Now, he went above and beyond. I mean, the Metal Choir, we'll talk about more in a second with that one, but my interactions with Mick have been nothing but positive. I mean, we've actually talked on social media, like public posts and everything. He seemed cool there. I've emailed him a few times about videos. In fact, once he told me that he used a congling, which is a real instrument. But you know what? I looked that up, and I got confirmation that Mick Gordon, Michael John Gordon, used the real human leg bone, or femur, for this instrument. Yeah. On Exultia, on the ambient track, there is an instrument made out of a human bone that Mick played. Not even kidding. Well, the reason I asked him was because they have a wooden version or a real human leg bone version, and I wanted to know, Mick, which thing did you use? Did you use the imposter, or did you use the real thing? I honestly thought he used the real thing. Let's be honest here, like Mick would use the real thing if he uses a lawnmower, right? And just to get confirmation before I put it in a video, yes, he did use the real thing. So everything I've ever talked to with Mick, whatever I've seen like on the public, like asking him for advice, there was a Reddit poster that asked him for advice, and he was nothing but positive to the guy. Now, you know, when we talk about the Metal Choir, I think that's going above and beyond. Like, you could have just gotten people recordings, sent them in, like, oh, this is a scream, this is a, loud voice here, or a deep, those throat singing voices, the ones that go like, I can't do it, but this is an attempt. Yeah, that is going above and beyond. Having, 70-something people in the room, he set the tone, which is a pretty dark tone, I may add. But he really went above and beyond. You have gang vocals in recording all together in the same room, and he got everybody. He got those recordings live. He got them all flown in. I mean, I'm sure they were paid for and everything, but just the fact that he was not satisfied with going with a normal little recording sent in, that he did all of that. And imagine if you were a singer and you got to meet him and you got to work with him. How cool is that you got to be a part of the development of Doom Eternal? That when you heard those voices, you heard yourself in the game. I mean, I remember whenever there was a painting of Daisy and the Slayer that was put in the game by Zeus, if I say that correctly, and that was so cool when people found out. It's like, oh, this guy's painting, who's very talented, by the way, is actually in the game. Imagine being in that situation. How cool is that? I mean, you have the Markiplier Easter egg that when he discovered it, he was just happy about. There are so many cool things that you don't have to do as a person in this game, and yet you do and go above and beyond. Now, I understand that here's the big rub here. Doom without Mick. People say, I'm not buying the next Doom game without Mick Gordon. I'm not touching it. Boom, boom. And you know what? The whole treatment of the whole Bethesda thing, that is out of the scope of this video. He did say to leave the whole thing alone, so we're just going to look at this from a broad scope here. Before Mick, there was Doom. Yes, I mean, I grew up on the 90s games with the original Bobby Prince soundtrack. That has a close place in my heart, and hey, I'm sure it does yours as well if you grew up with that, or even if you didn't, just knowing where it came from. That is a special place. Now, we look at the love that this team has for classic Doom. Just the other day, I posted a video about blockouts or early map design. Jason O'Connell, the previous lead level designer, he used classic Doom textures. He wanted gameplay before how it looks. That is the dedication that it has had to this game and those who have worked with it. So there has been Doom before. And it's just been a great series these past 30 years. We had Doom Ancient Gods with Andrew and David, who have really picked up the mantle well. I mean, I remember when Andrew had the IDDQD, the album of recreating classic Doom. Sounds so good, jaw-dropping stuff. And look at him now, working on all these boomer shooters on here. David working on these magical big pro productions. They really held it up well. Yes, it's not Mick making the Ancient Gods. I get that, I understand. But even I remember a time when they told Andrew that you should not try to just copy Mick. You know, they need to walk in their own shoes, although the shoes that Mick left were big ones, and they look and sound really cool, and they probably lit up as well, like you know how the kids' shoes do, light up really cool ones. It's all about that. And you know what? After Mick, there will be Doom as well. It is a whole thing. We have to look at Mick Gordon's involvement in the Doom franchise as part of a piece of history and timeline. If you take a 30-year timeline, you stretch it out, you put 1993 at the beginning, you put 2024, 5, 6, 7, and beyond at the end, Mick has a very dedicated, solid place in that timeline. He has that time blocked off to himself. We have Doom before with Bobby, with Aubrey. We'll have Doom after with Andrew, with David. But we will not forget Mick. When people say, I'm not buying the next Doom without Mick Gordon, we have to remember, we're not forgetting Mick. By no means are we forgetting Michael John Gordon. We will always remember his contribution to the series. I will always jam it in my car. My kid likes it. I'm growing up Doom kids here, okay? Funny fact, one of my son's birth, the first day in the hospital, we watched a Doom stream. It was Glitch Hounds, by the way. There is so much to think about. Look, I miss Mick. I do. I miss his music. He had something that nobody else has really had up to that point. And yes, it is gent, it is whatever. He didn't invent the genre of the Doom Argent Metal stuff, although people like Jeffrey Day and iMagma carry it on beyond. He put it to the game in a way that it blended so well and fit what we needed. He didn't need crazy high shred guitar, which I believe he can do based off our interactions, but he knew what needed to be made. It fit into the game. Everybody's not going to like that. They didn't like the rap trailer when it came out, but that hit a target demographic that it needed. It's all about knowing what works for what you need, blending it all together, putting it together well. Yes, Eternal was different than 2016. Yes, both have amazing tracks. Yes, they are awesome. We are in good hands without Mick Gordon. I know it sucks to say, and I would have liked to see what he would have done in the future with Doom Eternal 2 or Doom Absolution or Doom 3-2, I don't know what you want to call it. We're in good hands, though, with Andrew and David, assuming they're going on. I did predict that Andrew was going to do the DLC when it came out, and sure enough, he did. I have a whole video on that if you're interested. Let me know in a comment or whatever. But he's going to go down in history as a giant of Doom. He is a giant. The shoulders are stood on, his shoulders be stood on, whatever the phrase goes. We will carry on a piece of history with Mick Gordon at its core. All those favorite tracks, Meat Hook, which I made an acoustic version of. The Only Thing That Fears You also have an acoustic version. All of those will never be forgotten. Neither will Mick's work be. They will be encased forever in Doom history. And yes, things have not been perfect over the time, but you know what? We can go on forward knowing that Michael? I'm going to leave this in the video. Michael John Gordon did such a great job on the Doom soundtrack. What's your favorite Mick track? Comment below and check out the cool Easter egg here that nobody knew existed. Thank you for watching.